Hey there. This is Dr. Pam Perry, and we are in for a treat today because there is a show that is all about women. You know, this is Women's History Month, and this girl is making history. So we're going to bring up Sheri Hunter, and we're going to talk about Daring to Live. That is her book. So we're going to bring her up, but we'll tell you a little bit more about her after this.
Hey yo, kick back, relax, let's dive in the page. Pam Perry picks got the books for your brain. From fiction to non-fiction, all genres insane. We coming through showing love to the lit game. Greatest stories ever told, gotta find your pick. Imagination running wild, ain't nothing slick. Get lost in the pages, let your mind drift. Pam Perry picks got your brain in the bookshelf vibe. Turning the pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. Bookshelf vibe, turning pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. From the classics to new, we got the books for you. Get your mind right, let the knowledge accrue. Bookshelf vibe, expanding horizons by Pam Perry kicks, keeping readers satisfied. Books up high, knowledge we can't deny. Get your reading on, feel the book one fly. Click cover image.
Okay, Amazon Live. We got a lot going on today, but we are going to get it together. We're going to get it together because I am just excited to have this lady. She's going to be on. I've been trying to get her on for a while, and right now my phone is acting a little wanky with the Amazon Live. How's that? Is that good? Let me look at. I'm looking at Daring to Live, and I'm daring to do this live right now. How about that? Okay. Well, you're going to see me from the side. How about that? Or how about it's going to be hard for me to do this. Yes, it's going to be hard for me to do that. Okay, let's see. Can you bear with me until Sheri gets here for a minute? We're going to try to get this together for this live here, Amazon Live. So her book is called Daring to Live. And I'm going to, let's see, I have a prop for this, but I need some help to get this propped right. And let's see if I can get this propped right and maybe put it here. Okay. How about that? How's that? I think that's okay. All right. All right. How's that? Okay. All right. So let's tell you a little bit about Daring to Live. I'm looking at two cameras here. Okay. So we're on YouTube. We're on the other things as well. But Sheri Hunter, I met her years ago, and she has done a lot of writing. She is actually a journalist, and she's been writing, and she's been on Today Show. She's done a lot of different things, and she has written some stories for Speakers Magazine. This is our Speakers Magazine that we've had February, and then this is March. And she's written some cover stories. I think she did Dr. Avis. I want to say she did Dr. Cheryl Wood. She's written like about 4 cover stories. And then she took a break to write this particular book. And I'll give you a little bit of her endorsements of this. And she just signed on to a new agency, and also it's optioned into a movie, and Devon Franklin is going to be producing that. So Jack Canfield gave an endorsement here. It says, Daring to Live is inspirational and deserves to be a bestseller. That's Jack Canfield, if you know him from Chicken Soup for the Soul. Devon Franklin, obviously, he loved the book because he's going to be producing the movie. It says, Sheri Hunter illustrates the power of faith, overcoming fear, and living free. Her story will inspire you to live boldly and challenge you to explore the adventures of life. So I haven't really told you what the book is about, but you kind of can hear what people are saying. Ashley Abercrombie, yes, is probably the person who wrote the book Rise the Truth Teller, and she's a speaker and the co-host of Why Thou podcast. And there is Karen Drew. She's with WDIV. She gave an endorsement as well. And then the other person here, it is a Baker book. So it's a Christian book. It's all about faith and that sort of thing. She is from Detroit. She hails from Christian Tabernacle Church, CTAB. Shout out to the pastors there who have really been supportive for this particular book. And that is Pastor Forbes and Loretta Forbes. They are over at CTAB, and also she was set under the tutelage of Pastor Mormon, the late Pastor Mormon, and Loretta Mormon. So we want to give a shout out to them as well. Now, let me give you a little bit about what Sheri is. I think I hear her popping in. I got all these things going on, Sheri. So, you know, I said I was going to be stalling. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There we
A
go.
little later because I was like, oh, she wants me on Chrome. Okay. I don't usually
Yes,
use
yes,
it, but
yes. So,
I have it.
so we have the lady of the half an hour on. I won't say lady of the hour because we're only being for about half an hour. But this is the thing that I wanted people to know about you, Sheri, is that I gave them who the endorsements were, who you were under the tutelage of C-Tab, Pastor Mormon, and Lady Mormon, and then now Forbes, Lady Pastor Forbes and Loretta Forbes. But that's the church
Yes.
that you came out of, and you and your husband served in this church. But I didn't tell them what the book is about. I just told them who Jack Canfield, Devon Franklin, and Ashley Abercrombie, Karen Drew, and you know that they gave endorsements for this. But I haven't
I
really
know.
told them. I told them that you wrote a little bit about Speakers Magazine. Okay, that you wrote
Yes.
some stories for that as well. I said then you had to take a break, and then you had to get to this book. Told them that you've been on Today's Show and some other places. You were featured in Variety magazine. That was
Yeah.
one. But I haven't really told them about the book. I was about to read a little bit about it, um, about Maynard in terms of your husband. So you want to,
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit. It says, when her husband Maynard unexpectedly passed and he was just 50 years of age, Sheri Hunter was devastated. With the whole world falling down around her, she turned to her friends. And so I didn't give the subtitle of the book too. It's called Daring to Live, but the subtitle is so appropriate. I want her on for Women's History Month. It says the power of sisterhood and taking risks can jumpstart your joy. So this is a book about joy and really her faith walk as well. So that I wanted to make sure that we said that. With the whole world falling down behind her, and she turned to her friends. Years before, she and the Dare Divas had gone on a whitewater rafting trip. Okay.
Yes.
And that part right there says now they start some other adventures: zip lining, skydiving, mountain climbing, okay, and more. Through these death defying activities and the unwavering support of her friends, Sheri found the strength to move forward in life. More than just a memoir, this empowering female travelogue pairs emotionally resound confessional storytelling with spiritual takeaways, which is what I like about it, challenging you to engage in your own life, surround yourself with friends who will support you, and face life's challenges with courage and faith. If you've ever experienced a sudden loss or upheaval in life, Sheri's story will reassure you that even if life as you know it is over, the future God has for you is always full of new adventures. I love this. I love this. So
Oh, thank
so,
you.
reading it at the beginning of it, you're feeling, a little teary-eyed. But as
Yeah.
you move through the book, you're like, oh my goodness. It's like really I can't pronounce the mountain that you climb, but
Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro.
Okay, that part
Yeah.
right there. I can't even
I
say
know.
it. Let's do it. Okay.
Right.
And you did this at what age?
Also, I guess I was probably like 53.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So like in the best
53.
shape ever, right? Like not, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
had to get
that's
ready for all this.
something. Yeah, it's something how you mystify yourself. You're like, how did that happen? Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
it was
So
wonderful.
tell me
Yeah.
about the process of doing the book. Was it always like the process of like, I'm going to get out here, I'm going to really get my joy back, I'm going to do all these things with the Dare Divas, and I'm going to write a book? Or did someone keep saying you need to write a book? I know your background was in writing and that sort of thing. So how did it come about? And then to get your first book as not a self-published book, but really Baker Books, which is a huge publishing house. Of those of you who don't
Right,
know,
right.
it's a huge publishing house. Baker Books is big.
Yeah.
Okay.
The process was, initially I just started journaling, and then from there, I decided that I actually people were telling me when we were on our different adventures, they're like, you guys need to chronicle this in some way.
Hmm.
So I reached out. I was also freelancing at the time for the Oakland Press.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me the courage to send out some query letters to different publications, so magazines, and More Magazine and National Geographic took interest in the whole process. And so then once the articles were published, then surprisingly, the book deal, the film deal came before the book deal.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
because initially when I was at these different book conferences, I went to many just to kind of learn the book business. There were film agents there, and there were people who expressed interest in the article so they could actually option the article.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that was like, wow, maybe there's something more here. So then I decided to spread my wings a little bit and write the book.
Yeah.
So it didn't actually happen in the order that I suppose things like that normally happen. But
Right.
that
Right.
just
Because normal.
goes to show
Yeah.
how God can operate in our lives, if you just move forward, if you take some initiative. So I tried my best to take some
Yes.
initiative.
And that does not, just so everybody knows, that does not happen on your first book. Okay, your first book that you do first of all, you don't get option for a movie. And I want to say Devon Franklin is pretty much, he's done all the big hits in that sort of thing. And then I think it was Amazon. You was it
Yes, it's Amazon Films.
Amazon Films, which is
Yeah.
huge. And then also too, the fact that you wrote the book, it's hardcover, Kindle, soft, all those things, and then you end up in More Magazine, Variety, all the major media, Today's Show, and in store. And then now you have a new agent. You have a new agent, or you start with a new
Yes, I
agency.
have a new book agent, and
Okay.
we're working on the second book.
And so
So
just so that people know, it's hard to even get an agent. Okay. It's just that
it
just
really
doesn't
is.
happen. That you just don't, agents don't
Yeah,
just like, oh, I'm gonna get it. No, that doesn't happen at
yeah,
all. And then for
yeah.
you to then query and then get in major publications like More, what was the other one? You said More and
National Geographic. It was Traveler. National
yes. Oh,
Geographic Traveler
okay.
magazine. Yeah.
Those are the things. So when things are in alignment like that, that is God really has his hand on you. Even
Yeah.
though the tragedy of Maynard passing at such a young age, very, very young age, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, and then you have to, like you said, upheaval. So name the friends that you had to these Dare Divas that
Yes.
that took this ride with you.
Yes. So my friends, the Dare Divas, we met at CTAB. We were serving in church at CTAB. So it's Mia Lewis. She's the one who initially got us all together to go on the whitewater rafting trip. That's the first dare. That's the first one we ever took together.
Oh my
And
goodness, Mia.
it was, let me tell you, it was something.
No.
And then Anjanette, she was Frink then. She's Anjanette Frink.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brenda Jegede. So
Okay.
it was the four of us who went on these dares, and each of us, coming up with something more outlandish each time to do.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
Anjanette was the one who wanted us to skydive, like jump out of a plane at 10,000
Ooh.
feet.
Is it
So
just for the
yeah,
shock value, or is it just for to get my heart, get my mind off something else? I mean, what is the daring? What was, because I know your husband liked the motorcycle, and you talked about that in the book, that one of the things that you wish that he had done earlier was really take that motorcycle. Was it a Harley Davidson?
yeah, he had a BMW, as it turns out.
Okay.
He had a
To me,
BMW
they're
bike.
all alike. They're all
I
fascinating
thought
with,
he would get a Harley, but no, he didn't. He got a BMW, a used one.
but even then, he loved that, and you said that was a part of it. So was that part of the inspiration of you saying, "Let me do more dares, let me live out of my comfort zone," and then you found these friends that happened to do the same thing? What was the inspiration for that?
Well, our friends, we were serving in church together. But yeah, Mannard and I had taken motorcycle lessons together when he first expressed interest, because I think the concern was that if we were ever somewhere and I was on the back of the bike and something he couldn't continue, I needed to know how to ride. And I was like, but
Mhm.
why though?
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't need to know. We could just call somebody. Right.
That would
But
be
but what it ended up being was an opportunity to have a chance to just be together as a couple, learning something new. And I was scared to death, and I'm so glad we did. But then the dare part really came because there was just these women we wanted to fellowship.
mhm.
So the first dare took place before Mannard even passed.
Right,
So it
right.
was a chance to fellowship. But what I felt after each dare was this, I don't know, it's sort of like after you if you work out, I tend to run sometimes, and then that after, getting over that first, like, "Oh my god, this is exhausting," it's this euphoria that
Oh,
your body experiences, like, "Oh, wow, your body, your mind, your soul is like, 'Thank you. Thank you
mhm.
for, you
Pushing
know,
through.
pushing yourself through," and so you get to that spot where your body is thanking you for it, and I felt the same way after I did the dares. I felt each time so, empowered, like, "Wow, I did that thing." I don't know,
Mhm.
and I think it certainly helps when you do it with friends,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it becomes a way of celebrating, that you all did it and you did it together,
yeah.
but, yeah, I love that feeling of, being able to tackle something and, being
Push
able to
yourself to the
survive it.
limit. Yeah, and push yourself to the limit. Push yourself to the
Yeah,
limit. The
yeah,
part
yeah.
about the skydiving, it's always been something that I wanted to do. I think at one
You
point I
should
said I
do
wanted
it.
to go into a hot air balloon around Michigan, that kind of thing. I said that would be, but then so many people are like, oh, what if this happened? What if that happens? And again, part of it is faith. You've got to just believe that you're going to be okay. But the tell us about Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes, so Mount Kilimanjaro, came about we each have mentioned the types of dares that we all wanted to do. As I mentioned that, Mia wanted to do whitewater rafting.
Yeah, yeah.
Anjanette was the one who's mentioned skydiving. I think Brenda had kind of gone along with the, motorcycle one, even though I kinda pitched it to her. And, my bright idea, was Kilimanjaro. And, initially, when I thought of it, I was like, "Come on, we're not mountaineers, right?" But, it became doable because we realized it was a hike, a very strenuous one, right? You have to
Mhm.
prepare and train for it,
Right, like a
but,
marathon.
it was doable,
Mhm.
and it's one of those things, during the time when we were on it, we were like, "Oh my goodness, Sheri," everyone was looking at me cross-eyed, like, "Why, oh, why do we listen to Sheri?" I'm surprised they're still my friends.
I know, I know. It's just like that's a lot. It's like running a 26-mile marathon or so. It's like a lot of training. How much did you all train ahead of time? Like how many years?
So, yeah, now listen, I ran a marathon, and this was more difficult than a marathon in my mind. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I remember after the marathon just feeling whipped, but
Right.
after this one, I was like it becomes, because unlike the marathon, there's, like, maybe 3, 4 hours. This is like a 9-day, you're constantly climbing, and you might be
Mm,
going for 10 hours a day.
mm,
So, it
mm.
was very strenuous, but, I felt like at the time that, you really do need to prepare like you're running a marathon, right?
Yes, yes. You have mentally have to have that. And
Yeah,
I love the chapter titles that you have in the book. One of them is, starting out with dare to care, dare to lead, dare to trust, dare to risk. That's what you did. Dare to be bold, dare to move forward, and then dare to stay the course. You talked about NASCAR. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. And then dare to let go, and then dare to ascend, and that's when the mountain is, it's taking you
yeah,
higher, and then dare to be wild, and that's really like your best life. So
yeah.
since all of these dares have taken place, what are some of the things that you've seen change in your life, or things that are different in your life? I know you wrote the book, you've done on the media tour, I think you got remarried.
I did. I did.
Yes,
And he
yeah, we
actually went,
did.
his name is Michael. He actually went on the Kilimanjaro trip. So
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so good. Did he
yeah.
actually do he was there
Yeah,
too?
he was there with us. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
It's
my goodness.
yeah,
You
well,
found
he
that.
was
You
he was
found
looking at me like he wished he never met me while we were
you said 9 days, 10 hours a day. It's like what? But
I
once
know.
you do that, you probably feel you can do anything. You could do
It does cross
anything.
over into other areas of your life. I think all of the Dear Divas would agree that it does, it crosses over into your career. How do you approach it? It also crosses over into your other relationships too, like, making sure that, you're mindful and intentional
Mhm.
with your heart. So it does affect that. And I think in general, I know a couple of us have gone back to try different things, independent of the group, So I just think that's wonderful where you can see that, when you do something extremely challenging, how it
Mhm.
actually can motivate you and touch very other facets of your life.
I love that. And then in the book, because it's a faith-based book, you have a lot of scriptures in here. Did you, you're not a pastor or anything like that. Was it, did you have your pastors look at it, or did you do extra study, the Bible study? Did the editors do that just to make sure how was that part doing? Because it's like when you were writing, Oakland Press is not a Christian newspaper. Okay, so it's a
Correct.
different type of writing when you write for a Christian book. So how did
You
you
know,
fit that
it
in?
definitely it definitely helps to be under leadership of someone who is really equipped and knowledgeable and has a relationship with Christ that it's like a covering in many
Mhm,
ways. And
mhm,
so I was so grateful and thankful to have Pastor James Mormon and his wife,
yeah,
Loretta Mormon, Sister Loretta Mormon. I've been under their guidance for 25 years. So that definitely was, excellent foundation for so many ways. But yeah, I definitely did. I remember that I I was really aligning with putting myself into where I was really meditating, praying. I was doing a lot of Bible study.
mhm,
I didn't
mhm.
allow
I could
myself
tell.
even to do a whole lot of secular type of watching and reading.
Mhm,
I was
mhm,
really trying to lean into that.
mhm,
And so that all of that plus yes, Baker Books, they do have a publishing end that is, primarily Christian based. So I had a wonderful editor who
oh,
helped me bring it all together. So
mhm,
that all of that together, the Holy Spirit was with me during the whole writing of it. I prayed, I asked God to help me make sure that what I was writing was in line with what He would want His people and people who are learning more about Him to embrace. So it was a lot of
mhm,
thoughtful prayer and meditating the entire time.
mhm, mhm. I like that. That is one of the things that the book does is that it takes you on a journey. It you feel you through the book. You and the Dare Divas through the book. And
Thank
so
you.
that's one of the things that I want people to really get it because when they see it, they can see themselves in the book. Like you said, you start out as a journal. So it's very personable, very revealing, but then also too, you're teaching at the same time. So that's what
Mhm.
I like about the book the most. So that part is really, really good. So what is next? As we kind of wrap up, what
Mhm.
is next? I know everybody's waiting for the movie. It's been optioned, and movies can take a long time. They can take two
Yeah,
years. They
years.
could take 10 years. It
Yeah.
does. Those are the kind of things that. But so, what are you going to do in the meantime? What's next for you? I know you're working on your next book, but are you
Yeah.
speaking? Are you doing
Yeah.
editing?
I mean, I've had the pleasure to speak at different locations. So universities, University of Michigan, Michigan State, Mercedes-Benz, Ally, during
Oh,
women events,
yeah.
but overall, some of their, different programs that they have that where they want to kind of enlighten their employees. And so
Mm-hmm.
I felt very grateful to do that. I'm doing some freelance writing, speaking about that. My next book is also going to be about daring, and it's daring about having conversations about our careers. Our careers take up the bulk of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so just looking at like different scenarios of how we can sometimes allow imposter syndrome to make us, fearful in our careers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm using, biblical principles, scriptures to kind of combined with doing a self-assessment of some things that we might personally need to do in order to meet the Lord where He wants us to go.
Mm-hmm. I like that. There
Yeah.
is a person I would like you to meet. His name is Troy James, and I'll introduce
Ooh,
you to him. But he's written a book about faith and leadership.
okay.
And really, he used to work for a corporate, I'll say Starbucks. He used to work for Starbucks for like 22 years. But it's the
Oh,
intersection of leadership and faith. And
okay.
again, what you said about how you don't have to leave your biblical principles at the door when you check into work. It really
Yeah,
can lead you and guide you. And that's really where I think a lot of people, it's like putting their faith to work at work. That's really it. Their faith at work to work. So that's real. I
exactly.
love that. I love it. That is so neat, especially now everything is pivoting. People are, Washington Post laid off hundreds of people, or AI is coming in and taking jobs. And so people feel not only imposter syndrome, but they also feel just fearful, like, oh my God, technology is changing. And if you're over a certain age, 50 years old, ageism is real, but you
It
don't have to
is.
be afraid if you could do something different. And so that's where a lot of career coaches are for younger people. Like, what do you want to do? But then what about older people? It's like, I know what I want to do, but it's like it's ageism. So
Yeah,
those who are,
and I think that that's a good point that you make. I think that everyone is, I think because of technology, AI, it is impacting things. But I
Mhm,
think that's where we need to really sit down and kind of do some self-assessment, and then be in prayer about how we about approaching that next step. So often people think if you're a Christian that you have to be like, meek and mild, but really that's not what God tells us. He tells us there's times to be mild and there's times to, show your strength. So
mhm.
that's something that we can do no matter what age, right? You can
Yes,
still have a
yes.
wonderful career.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So next for you is more speaking, working on the next book. How can people get in touch with you? I want people to know how they can get in touch with you. What's the best way?
Yeah, so you can visit my website. My website is sherryhunter.com.
Okay.
And I love to hear from people. You can just go there and you can reach out and email me from
Okay.
there. And if we have more conversations about what that means to be daring, and we'd love to have that conversation.
I love that. I love that. So I'm gonna put that up
And
here
it
so
doesn't
people.
mean that you have to, I always tell people, it doesn't mean you have to jump out of an airplane. It doesn't mean you have to hike Kilimanjaro. I think so often people are like, yeah, that's good for her, but I'm never going to do any of those things. And you never have to do any of those things. But there might be something that's in your heart that's been pressing on you for a long, long time.
Mhm.
And it's the years are ticking off and it still has been there. And so sometimes you need somebody to hold your hand and help you as you pursue that.
Yeah,
So,
that
I
is
think
so
that's
true.
that's something important about being daring to live because we only get one life.
That is so true.
So we
That is
have to
so
be,
true. I love
yeah.
that. And I love the fact that it has this little balloon here, because when I
Yeah,
first saw that, I
parachute.
was like, I said that's what I need, if I'm going to be doing any of those type of things. So Daring to Live. It's on Amazon and it's in any bookstore. You can go to any bookstore and they will order it for you if it's not there. Or you can also go to the library as well, because it's Baker has distribution all over the world. So they can do that
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
So that is good. And I love the fact that you have these great endorsements for people who've read the book and really I just congratulate you on really doing
Thank you
this. And
so much.
I
And
want to celebrate you too.
thank you. And if anyone would like to get an autographed copy, you can order it from my website too.
Okay. And then that's Sheri with one
One
I and
R,
one
right?
R. One R.
Yes.
Right, right,
Thank you
right.
for
So it's
saying that, Pam, because there's 1,000 ways to spell Sherry,
it
right?
is. It is. I was like, I had to put that down there, so because people are gonna just try to figure out the old school way, but you got the new school way of really
Right.
putting that together. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew that. Well, thank you so much for joining
My
us
pleasure.
today, Sherry. This has
Thank
been
you.
good.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
Pam, as always.
God bless Talk to you soon. That was Sheri. So make sure you get the book, Daring to Live. That is it. I've turned this sideways. So Daring to Live. So you can do it that way as well. So make sure you get that. It will bless your life. It really will. It will bless your life. And she's from Detroit. All righty. So I will talk to you later. God bless. This is Pam Perry signing.